Darren Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Darren Tuttle with you on this Thursday evening, about 10 minutes till 10. It's time to get you updated on what the weather is going to be for our Friday, as you may have heard. If you haven't heard it from me, you probably heard it from little birdie, that there is a storm system coming, producing some showers and storms back across Oklahoma and even down into Texas, and some of those will be severe, some hail, some wind, and that dreaded tornado word. Is that really going to happen? Well, you came to the right place. We're going to look at the latest data hot off the presses and find out together where that threat, if it occurs, where it's going to be and what time is it going to be. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and share this video. Tell your friends and family about AT's weather. Do me a favor, hit the old share button. It goes to your news feed. Everybody can watch together. They can see what you're watching right now. They can get the scoop without all the hype, the drama, the unnecessary nonsense. So pure science, baby. This is what we do here. So all right, let's get on with the program, shall we? Oh, first thing I want to do before I do that, on Facebook, hit the update button I just posted in the comments section if you're having trouble getting notified when I do go live. Facebook does have a tendency to rock the boat, to put it politely. So this will bypass Facebook's irritating algorithms and always get a message directly from me through your instant messenger on Facebook. And so there we go. All right, thanks for you joining in on Rumble and also on YouTube tonight. Jody is still not with us, I'm afraid. So she won't be able to comment with you tonight. She is en route, a few hours away, with our new little addition to the family. So if you haven't seen the picture of little Penelope, go take a look. It's on the wall on my Facebook page, so you can see how little teeny tiny Penelope is. It is a teacup Yorkie, a female, obviously, and Larry needed a friend. I use the word friend loosely. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. Larry's going to be in for an interesting surprise, so we'll see how it goes. So we'll have more on Penelope coming up later on, but we're going to get back to the forecast here for the remainder of tonight and tomorrow before we head on into the weekend, right? Okay, also you guys on Twitter, thanks for checking in, and of course Facebook. And thank you for the stars. Already saw many stars tonight. Bruce was in the house throwing me some. So was Tiffany. Isaac in the house. Robert in the house with some stars. So thank you for the Facebook love out there. And let's get on with the program. All right, so let's pop this up. First things first. Oh, let's do this. If you are wanting to get a Tempest weather station, they're very easy to set up. It looks like the one here to my left shoulder. This shoulder over here. So that right there is what it looks like. Real easy peasy. Anybody can put it up and they'll get some accurate weather information. There's a barcode, QR code there on the screen if you'd like to save some money. If you want to buy it, that's my promo code for AT's weather, and that'll get you up to speed there. And you can go back and play this live video anytime to do it post haste. All right, let's go to temperatures out there currently besides my backyard. We're about 70s and 60s across the state for the most part. 40s and 50s out to the panhandle. Why would that be, you wonder? Yeah, cold front. So that's usually the way it goes, right? And you can see the evidence of that front out here because there is a gust to 25 miles per hour from the northwest. So this will be the leading edge of a front that will sweep through Oklahoma tomorrow. It'll be across central Oklahoma by lunchtime. So it's a fast-moving front, faster than what the earlier models said, which limits some of the severe weather potential. That's good news, right? Remember, I tell you, you don't want to get too worked up, too many days out, too many things can change. And I mentioned the cold front undercutting storms. That'll probably what happens. And we'll get to that detail here in a second. Meanwhile, here is a look at the overall general risk for severe weather for our Friday. You can see a big region here across the southern plains. So basically from Texas to Arkansas and Oklahoma and then back down toward Louisiana. Kind of a sweet spot here in the orange area. This is the enhanced region. All these R's is categories of probabilities of confidence and a little bit more significance as far as more coverage, maybe a bigger magnitude, that kind of deal. So there's a tornado threat within this little hatched area. It does include Dallas-Fort Worth to Tyler, Longview, Sherman, back here to southeast Oklahoma, so about to McAllister. Not quite to Fort Smith, but in the southwestern quadrant of Arkansas. This extends all the way down to central and southern central Texas, so down toward Austin, Big Bend area, and pretty large area. And yes, this is October, and yes, November, and yes, we do sometimes get tornadoes this time of the year. It's a very small window to occur, but it does happen. So here's the details on the timeline on how this ought to go and our close-up view. So again, tornado potential is medium down here across, let's say, south and east of Ardmore to Durant and the rest of southeast Oklahoma. We should get a little bit of hail out of this, up to about golf ball size. Winds up around 60 to 80 miles per hour. Timing on this, early on this evening and overnight, some isolated stuff developing, nothing too widespread. If anything develops, it's basically just a little bit of hail, elevated hail, a little bit of wind. So not a whole lot of concern for this region here. The concern kind of picks up more toward this corridor and then onward, and really kind of favoring this corridor. All right. So this is the area I'd be more concerned with for potential tornadoes, especially Oklahoma City's kind of on the northern fringe, but as you head more down south and east of town, that's my gut talking to me, and we'll show you some details on that here in just a second. And you can even look at the tornado potential here from the National Weather Service, which does also kind of jive with that discussion, more down toward Ardmore, Ada, and Durant. Eastern Oklahoma, same kind of idea, severe weather risk here across the yellow regions, across the northern parts of eastern Oklahoma, then down around McAllister. There's that enhanced risk, which is also in that little shaded area for the potential for tornadoes. So again, southeast Oklahoma kind of has a better potential for that. Now, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, this is one of the reasons why this is not necessarily a significant widespread event across the entire state, because the system didn't come in at the right time. Timing is everything, and you know this. In life, timing is everything. Guess what? In Mother Nature, no difference. We all live in the same matrix. I'm going to say matrix because I'm not so sure any of this really exists. So let's take a look. The upper level low out here across New Mexico comes in right about, let's see, Friday lunchtime. All right, there's early afternoon. I'm going to back it up to lunch. And we've talked about this before, so if you've watched me off and on, I like to show the jet stream pattern in these colors, because the colors represent a lot of lift in the atmosphere. All right, what you're going to watch here on the map as I animate this, look to this region here. This is the best lift in the atmosphere. And what you're going to happen is we go from Friday noon to Friday evening. You're going to watch this stuff light up like a Christmas tree. All right, so that's the enhancement of the thunderstorms that develop within that lift region. And then you can see how the bulk of this stuff, guess what? It's eastern Oklahoma, in other words, the east of I-35, because this low is kicking out pretty quick. So there's Friday afternoon position. And then by Saturday, you can see the color of the vorticities all the way up into Kansas and all the way up into Iowa at this point by Saturday morning. So it's a fast mover. It's in and out of here. It's one and done. And the weekend looks great. All right, so let's time out some of the lift within this system. Again, the red indicates the stronger lift. So let's go back it up to this evening. So here's now, let's say to midnight, all right? So there's some lift out here in the Panhandle, so we're getting some elevated stuff that'll try to get going overnight at around midnight to daybreak here across the western half of the state. It won't be all that big in coverage, and again, a little bit of pockets of hail, likely. All right, then we'll go into the lunchtime hour for tomorrow. You still see a lot of lift here in central Oklahoma, parts down south. And then what happens here? Look at this, around 4 to 5 o'clock, it just blows up. In other words, a mega lift. So that means mega storms going on across the eastern half of the state. Kind of forms a solid squall line, looks like in the appearance here of the vertical velocities at 7 o'clock. Now, take home also is this. I had mentioned this in prior forecast discussions, that it could be over with early here in Oklahoma City metro area for Friday evening. And it was kind of a touch and go as far as, canceling a lot of football games. I know some of them moved them to Thursday because of the fact to play it safe. So there still is a possibility we can get out of this rain over with, by 6 o'clock tomorrow, and then the rest of the evening is dry here in Oklahoma City, for example, in central Oklahoma. But meanwhile, all the major lift is east. By Friday night, midnight, on into Saturday morning, it's long gone, right? I mean, there's nothing left of that. It's out of our complete domain. Okay, so the front comes in this evening. Here's a little line of it, and I'll draw it for you on the map. This is 8 o'clock in the morning. Look at the position of this guy. I mean, it's hauling. I mean, it's moving. All right, so the front's coming on through. We still have a south wind out ahead of it across Oklahoma City, which is in this region here. And as you can tell, if the front comes in too soon, you know what happens. Means we lose out on severe weather. So let's see what happens. By noon, let's clear this screen and draw it again. Look at this. Front snaking through the metro as we speak. Now, you know as well as I do, our best region in timing of severe weather occurs mid to late afternoon, like 4 o'clock onward. This is noon, and our trigger to get some of those storms going is already moving through, which means any storms that form along this boundary behind it get undercut, and it's just a little bit of hail, some brief heavy rainfall, maybe pockets of wind, but otherwise it limits the tornado threat, which is great news. Now, as we head into the afternoon hours, the front, let's see, by 4 o'clock is now running something like this. Now that means, and it's slowing down just a little bit, which is typical in this region of the state. That means that this area here, again, is the best region for tornadoes after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock kind of a deal. All right, then as we head into the evening, that front keeps moving on the east, takes all these storms with it, and then que sera, sera. All right, let's go on with let's do the crossover. So we're going to do the surface-based CAPE, which is the raw instability factor in the heat and humidity, and that gives us the CAPE values. The bigger the number, the more joules in the atmosphere, which means the more energy there is to work with. So the more energy you have, typically the bigger the storms. All right, so the shear is a crossover where you have this little, let me do this right here. This little red barb kind of goes in a southeastward vector. See that if you start here at the central point and you go there, that's a southeast vector. If you go here, the blue one, that's a mid-level vector. That's to the south-southwest. And the black one is kind of a mid-level vector as well. So you want this turning. You want this angle here between the red and the black to be about minimum 45 degrees, better 60, even better 90 degrees, which is what we have for rotating type storms. So these would be some elevated rotating type storms, looks like here in this muck that would develop later on tonight and tomorrow. Okay, so let's put this in motion for you. We'll show you how things time out, and we'll see who are the best shear and CAPE override each other. All right, as we head into lunchtime, let's just go to lunch. Boom. All right, most of the instability is gone here for Oklahoma and Canadian County. That's that cold front clearing us out, right? Okay, well, it shoves the threat now down here to Ardmore, this little guy right here. And this little sweet section from here to Ada looks like the best shear and CAPE over this little sweet spot right here. This would be my favorite region for tornadoes. Now, this would continue down south into Dallas-Fort Worth. So this is the Tarrant County, Dallas County. Oh, Dallas there, Tarrant County there. So again, in this region, North Texas, also a favorite area. Let's just do a plot forecast sounding for each zone. We'll start with Ardmore. And if you look at the forecast sounding for Ardmore, potential hazard type says right here, tornado. All right. And it's a weaker tornado, maybe EF1, possibly EF2. It's on the borderline here, but it does have some significant hail, 2 to 3 to 4 inches in the analogs, which means historically speaking, the environment would support some significant hail. Okay, now what about Dallas-Fort Worth? All right, so let's go. And this is lunchtime. And of course, conditions will change a little bit as the afternoon wears on. Quick peek at Dallas. Let's see, same thing. Tornado signature indicated by lunchtime. So anything rolling through at that time could have that potential. And let's go into the afternoon. Let's add a little more CAPE fuel to the fire, so to speak. Let's just pick here for now. This will be in eastern Dallas County. Again, tornado hazard type, and the strength of that is up a lot higher. Potential analog correlations up around EF3, EF4. So in other words, more of a significant damaging tornado is more likely, not in Oklahoma necessarily, but across Red River into North Texas. So heads up for you guys in Dallas-Fort Worth tomorrow. For the anywhere from the mid-afternoon to late afternoon is your sweet spot window to stay aware. Make sure you use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. It will predict those tornadoes ahead of time and give you ample opportunity to seek shelter before a warning comes out and the tornado comes knocking on your door. Should that be the case, and it is GPS activated, so you need to make sure your location services are enabled, free on Apple and Google Play. All right, here is a look at Friday. This is the significant tornado parameter, in other words, EF2 or greater potential. And you can see a little area just on the borderline here in south central Oklahoma, across Red River, on into North Texas, pretty much all the way down the I-35 corridor, down to Austin, and maybe not toward College Station for the afternoon. You can see all these little bright colors light up down here around Aggie Land, and then back up here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and again along the Red River. And those little pockets here across northern, I should say southern Oklahoma, south of Tulsa, well south of the metro in Oklahoma City, more likely toward the McAllister region, just to the west, toward Ada, and then kind of down south. And this is in the 4 to 5 o'clock window. And that doesn't last very long. Once we hit 7 o'clock, that parameter really drops off here. It still goes strong, though, in north and eastern Texas, east of Dallas. So, again, eastern Tyler, that kind of deal. They'll have to watch for a few tornadoes in their area. So that's kind of where the highlight is for the rough stuff. Okay, let's talk about the radar reflectivity and the forecast animation of how that should play out for tonight. Like we said, some elevated stuff out here along the front, developing by late tonight to early tomorrow morning. Big picture now, I'm going to zoom into Oklahoma here in a second. Just want to show you the big picture first. Some stuff up there in Kansas, again elevated, nothing too big. And then down south in the Dallas-Fort Worth area by afternoon, again we get those shower storms bubbling up there, and all this mess kind of congeals in a little bit of a squall line that stretches from really the east of Waco and down toward Austin, continues all up into the east side of Kansas, and that line pushes on into the rest of Texas. So once the line is in this configuration, the supercell type structure for tornadoes really drop off, and sometimes you can get the QLCS type, which is leading edge tornadoes that happen here, and those are a lot weaker and let's just say short-lived versus the supercell kind. So you kind of get a transition of tornado type. All right, needless to say, this will kind of continue through the evening hours for Friday on into Arkansas and overnight. So they will get some rough stuff in Arkansas as far as overnight thunderstorms. Again, probably risk of a tornado or two and pockets of some hail and wind. But again, the timing isn't really necessarily the best. If you want your best bang for the buck for severe weather, you always want it in the peak of daytime heating. All right, anyway, that's out of there, and then that's all she wrote. So let's get a quick zoom on that for the timeline for things you got to do tomorrow. Let's take a look together. Piddly showers and sprinkles overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Nothing heavy except for in northwest Oklahoma. Like we said, there could be some elevated hail mixed in with some of these little blobs of red you see up here. All right, let's go to that 6 o'clock in the morning. 7, 8, 9. So for your rush hour commute, like I said, nothing too heavy, no big deal. A few sprinkles, etc. Let's go to the lunchtime hour. That's when things start to get a little more exciting. So here is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And so that's when things kind of bubble up here along the I-35 corridor from Ponca City down toward Enid, Stillwater, Oklahoma City. Onward, and then as we go in from the 4 o'clock region to 5 o'clock, that's when things kind of really get going east of I-35. So the problem is I can't guarantee everybody's going to get really good rain tomorrow, especially west of 35. It's just the way it is. East of 35, it's an easy call. It's not a big deal. But there's those showers and storms that continue. There's 6 o'clock. Now notice, remember I said things could wind down pretty early for anything significant here at 6 o'clock in the metro. And in central Oklahoma, it does appear to be the case. So that means everything will be moving off quickly to the east because that upper system is moving so fast. There'll be some wraparound light showers up here in northwest Oklahoma. So I guess technically you could have a few sprinkles that swing through central Oklahoma. Even here in the metro, it shows a couple of sprinkles there on 8 o'clock, but it's not anything that's going to measure in the rainfall bucket. So it's just enough to kind of get the windshield wet again. That's about it. Anyway, those sprinkles up north and west and showers will move through Kansas and northern Oklahoma over the evening hours for Friday, and then by Saturday morning, looks like it's gone. I mean, I can't even find any remnants or residual of that. Okay, so that is the timeline on the rainfall and where the biggest threat is and all that kind of stuff. Because of the way things are going, it's going to be kind of difficult to get an accurate rainfall prediction from the models. What I can tell you is I keep backing off, the more significant stuff. So if you take a model blend, for example, it likes this little area out here in northwest Oklahoma for one little hot spot for some overnight early morning stuff. It's questionable to me the way things are going. And then it likes, of course, eastern Oklahoma way down here. But it forgot about these guys here. So I'm not sure what happened with the model blend. If you go with a high resolution NAM, I like this a little bit better. So it's got pockets of 1 to 2 inches here in I-35 corridor. It's not going to be solid, but some of us are going to be happy. Some of us are going to be like, hey, I didn't quite get enough. And there'll be pockets out here in northwest. So I kind of like this look better. So I'll throw out the model blend. I think it's garbage. And then, of course, better stuff out here in eastern and southeastern Oklahoma. Some of these areas are going to be up around, 2 pockets of maybe 3 inches of rain. And as we mentioned before, if you can get underneath one of these really heavy thunderstorms, you can pick up a quick 2 inches, no problem. And if you get another heavy thunderstorm on top of it, that can go another 3 or maybe another 4. The difference is that this system is moving so much faster, the amount of time we have for the rain is a lot shorter. So That's bringing rainfall totals down compared to what they were looking like earlier on in the week. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of things can change, guys, when it comes to the forecast. So when you hear all the hype of, maybe flooding or tornadoes or whatever, 5 days away, 6 days away, man, grain of salt, because so many things will change once you get toward the last 12 to 24 hours away from the event, and all of a sudden you see all these little things we talked about tonight. You're like, oh, okay, well, good. I didn't need to panic. I spent 5 days panicking. What would you panic for 5 days? Anyway, temperatures are obviously a little cooler on Saturday, but much better on Sunday. Sunday's the pick of the litter. I would pick Sunday over Saturday if I were you. To do anything outdoors, it's going to be really nice if you're looking for that kind of weather. Camping weather, of course, will work either way, but might be a little muddy for you. And otherwise, 70s after that, and then kind of a rebound on those overnight lows. And the next week, at the end of the week, get cold again. Daytime highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s and 40s. That was a lot to throw at you, but I hope it was very helpful. Okay, so Robert was checking in. He goes, hey, how are we looking at Tulsa tomorrow? Well, I guess, did you just tune in late? What's going on there, brother? Let's see. Yeah, so southeast Oklahoma, really, south central along the Red River is the best shot of seeing any tornado activity tomorrow. So I'll be monitoring it during the afternoon, and if it looks like some of those storms get carried away, I will do a live update for you to cover the tornadoes. And I don't expect anything here in Oklahoma City. It'd be a freak event if it did. Best timing, best parameters, best all that stuff is south and east. We are underneath that CYA area. Now, do you know what CYA means? Cover your, that's just because, again, freak deal. Couldn't rule it out. So then you would say never. Don't ever say never in that situation. You just say very, very low probability. So anyway, I'll kind of keep an eye on things, see how it goes. Met some people today that were kind of new to Oklahoma. Because now I'm in the realtor world, right? So I'm doing a lot of networking and meeting a ton of people, and I'm meeting some people that moved in from out of state. One guy, his wife moved in from Atlanta, and he came here, and his realtor, did not warn him and tell him that on Saturday at noon, it's going to sound like Armageddon, like we're going to war, and you need to head for the bunker. You're not going to know what it means, but it's going to scare the crap out of you. And so that was their first Saturday noontime tornado siren test. So they had the rude awakening. So I feel for him because I remember how that can happen. But anyway, so I usually get a lot of people from California that come in with kind of the same realization, like, what is going on here? Some of them get their first taste of severe weather and then run away. Others are like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then others turn on the news channels and get so petrified that they're afraid to go outside their door. And so we get all kinds of responses from people that move in from out of state. So just point in my direction. I'll keep them cool, keep them calm, keep them collected, and they won't lose their marbles. All right, well, that is it for me. Stephanie's in that Stefanik. Nice name, by the way. That was her first experience moving out on a Saturday morning. Elizabeth wants to know, how does Larry like the new puppy? Well, Larry doesn't know yet. The puppy is about 4 hours away. So Jody flew up to Minneapolis this morning, drove from there to Fargo. She met her daughter, who drove in from Canada, from Winnipeg, and her daughter brought in little Penelope. So Jody's loving life right now. She's on a complete, high of everything. Hadn't seen her daughter in almost a year. And then, of course, seeing little Penelope finally, other than through pictures. So Jody's on pure adrenaline right now. I can't believe she drove that whole distance. But she's doing it. So we'll get Penelope here tonight. And then, of course, we'll show you guys Penelope probably this weekend. Get a little time. And then Larry, it's going to be interesting because Larry hasn't had to share. So we're going to see how Larry reacts. I'm sure he'll be partly excited because Larry loves dogs. He loves to play. And he's still got that puppy in him, even though he's almost 5 years. Yeah, he's 5 years old now. So, and of course, Penelope is all about playing. So she's only 10 weeks, I think it is. So it'll be fun. But now Larry and Penelope, when Penelope gets of age, we will christen the official. It's okay, Larry and Penelope, you may, say I do and do what dogs do. And then we'll have little baby Yorkies coming out. So we'll see. That's the plan. So we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned for the little expansion of the Tuttle family in the world of teacup Yorkies. And her parents are cute, man. But so is Larry's. So both of them really cute parents up there in Canada. They have a breeder up there that's got many Yorkies from all different bloodlines, and so that's what she does up there. So that's where we got our two. Thank you for the pray for safe travels. Same here. I told her if she gets too tired, she needs to pull over. I see you, Seth. Met Seth tonight. Seth Irvin's in the house. He's also a new realtor in the market. So I'm meeting a lot of people in the industry. It's kind of neat, and I'm learning a lot more of stuff I wish I knew when I bought my first house. Because I realized now that the realtor I had back then wasn't that good and didn't follow some certain rules and didn't do what they should have done. And now I know what they should have done, and I'm like, don't be like that realtor. So I've learned a lot, and still continue to learn more. I'm like a sponge in this industry. Jody's been in it for 12 years, so it's nothing for her. But for me, it's a new thing to tackle. That's kind of who I am. I just go for different things, and then go nuts on it, learn it all, do something with it, and then after a while move on to another thing. So my life is never stale in the area of expanding, growth, trying something new, learning something new, putting your skill sets to use. And sometimes you don't even know what your skill sets are until you kind of find a way to use them. You're like, oh, I was really good at that. But you wouldn't know unless you tried, right? So I'm excited for the Team Tuttle Realty with Jody. So we're going strong, so that'll be fun. So if you do need any help on that regard of looking for a home to buy or sell, just reach out to us anytime, and we'll help you out. Okay, that is it from me for tonight. Oh, let me check you guys on YouTube real quick. By the way, I see a Jim in the comment section checking in from Mustang. So Jim is a diehard. He has been here from like the beginning. He's like old school. So he goes way back. Nancy's like, yeah, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. So I need you guys to be very proactive on the social media platforms, so YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff. Just make sure you hit the like button. That's the bare minimum. That's the least I ask of you. So hit the like button. These algorithms, man, they're getting so nasty, and it's very frustrating as a content creator because they change the rules on the fly. So yeah, the more you interact, you leave comments, you share the stuff, you like the stuff, the more that keeps this content bumped up for everybody else, and that way more people get notified versus less, that kind of deal. So it's a game we must play if we're going to be on social media, I'm afraid. So yeah, hit the old like and share and subscribe button too. Don't forget on YouTube, guys, you can subscribe. I'm at... I did everything on Facebook for so long. I didn't really get on YouTube until a few years ago, so I'm late to the party, my own party on YouTube. So I never really built the audience for YouTube, and I'm trying to slowly do it. But some people don't even like YouTube, right? But if you do like it and you do use it, even if you prefer to watch on Facebook, just like it on YouTube and hit the subscribe button. And you're like, well, why do we need to hit subscribe button on both? Well, two reasons. One, to my knowledge, YouTube always notifies you when I go live, which Facebook doesn't, and that's a pain in my side. So that takes care of the notification, because you don't want to miss anything, especially if I'm covering tornadoes, right? All right, secondly, I think it's a minimum. When I get to, there's a certain number on there, I think it's 10,000, you get automatic closed captioning that will get automatically turned on. I have it for Facebook, and I don't know, a couple of years ago, I used like a third-party closed captioning system. I was trying it out so I could do it for all platforms. This is before they were doing closed captioning, right? So I had to be first to do something that big tech wasn't doing that they should have done. And it was okay. I mean, you guys would laugh at some of the words. The other words, it would convert into something completely unrelated. But it was the best I had at the time. And but then, like I said, Facebook came around and said, we'll auto caption for you on the fly. So that took care of that. Of course, Twitter, forget it. They dropped Periscope, and Twitter's in a world of hurt. They've got to revamp their whole model and everything. Elon's in charge now, so we'll see what he does with that on the creator side. So hope he's got big plans on the video side of that. And then, of course, YouTube, minimum of 10,000 subscribers, and then it'll turn on the auto captions. And you're like, well, why do I need auto captions? Well, first off, let's say you got the baby in your arms and you're nursing. You don't want any noise, right? And well, then do the auto caption. Let's say you're asleep in bed. Like when I hit the pillow, 30 seconds, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm already dreaming. Jody's like, I need like an hour. So she'll be in bed watching stuff on Netflix or whatever and processing everything for the day. So obviously in that case, you might want closed captioning. Third reason could be you're in a meeting, all right, at your boss. Your boss is doing a big presentation. And you're just like, that guy's really boring today. I'm just going to check out, see what AT's got to say. You're in there going, oh, he's talking about tornadoes, And you can read that, So that's the way you can do it. Let me think. And then, of course, the main thing, and this is how this whole thing started, was hearing impaired, right? So that was the main ticket for any type of closed caption. It's been around forever. And when social media finally decided to get on the ball and do that, well, that's obviously the main reason. So that's kind of why I started that a few years ago. I'm trying to think anything else I want to talk about real quick. I think that's all. Let's see. Allie wants to know, Christina Huff, you will continue to learn. Tell me about it. Love being a realtor. I'm sure we'll cross paths at some point. I know we will. And I'm excited to work with other nice and kind realtors, not the ones that thinks we're all in high school and are very catty and will slit your throat for a deal. I don't want to work with those realtors. But the rest of them, let's do it. Let's see. Allie, so should we expect all of Fort Worth or east of I-35 mainly? Nope. All of Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's pretty much the whole North Texas region. Because the front's kind of lined up northeast, southwest. So at an angle. And when that's along the I-44 corridor kind of a deal for Oklahoma, if you think of it that way. And so the tail end of that, is well west of Dallas-Fort Worth. So they're in the juice. They're in what we call the warm sector. So they still have the chance to get all the fun stuff. Hillary, good to see you on there. She's got her badges on display tonight. We are a pop singing group, man band. We are from Greensboro, North Carolina. Affirmation Street. All right. Welcome to the program. Misty says Reed Timmer is going to be in Atoka County. Well, he picked the sweet spot, which is what we talked about tonight, so I'm not surprised. He'll look at the data in the morning and fine-tune that and maybe go a county over, or maybe he'll stay there, or maybe he'll just go down south to North Texas. You never know. Reed will go anywhere where there's a threat of tornadoes, that's for sure. Now, by the way, Robert, thanks for the stars earlier on. Appreciate that. So Ashley Porter. Oh, Ashley, I see you. I haven't heard from you in a while. Hey, yeah, I mean, some little bumps, maybe some small hail, but nothing big out there in western Oklahoma. Predictions mostly QLCS in Texas. What say you, AJ? Well, AJ, you must be late to the party because we done discussed that. Should I repeat? Should I? So yeah, the evening from say 7 o'clock onward, once the squall line materializes and it's no more of a broken cell look to it, that's when the QLCS threat goes up, and that's mainly for Tyler, eastern Texas, northeast Texas, Paris, Sherman, Denison, down toward, College Station, kind of east from there, Lufkin, Shreveport, maybe all that area. We will say it is clear in Greensboro, North Carolina. Well, that's good. Hey, my brother lives in South Carolina. He moved from Washington from one west coast to the east coast. He didn't stop in Oklahoma, though. You believe that? He went right past. But he's liking it out there. Got a nice view, trees. Howdy, Jordan. Good to see you. So Jordan is an old high school buddy. Sorry I missed the 30-year reunion. I was a little busy. All right. Casey, Courtney, wondering the same. Yeah, I'll have to do a training session or something, Hillary, an event, where I charge for learning on how to do maybe model interpretation and radar interpretation, all that kind of stuff. We could probably do that. I've been meaning to do it. It's just I work 3 jobs, so my time isn't always there. And me getting stuff organized is usually extra. I need another person of myself to do that. Let's see. Jonathan just moved here, military. At Tinker, welcome. First severe storm. Not too happy right now. Don't worry about it. today's a cakewalk for Oklahoma City for tomorrow in the data. So yeah, you wait till spring rolls around here. That's where you get your best bang for your buck. So don't worry too much about it. Plus, I got you covered. Make sure you get my weather app if you don't have it. AT's Weather to Go. It'll alert you before those tornadoes even come close to you. No other app will do that, so keep that in mind. Let's see. Oh, Jennifer's asking about Penelope. I wouldn't know. I haven't gotten to see her yet. Jody's hogging her all to herself. But in a few hours, she'll be here. They're hauling it down the back roads of Kansas. All right. Let's see. You know what? There actually was a model about snow. Jolene's that actually was in there. By the way, Bobby on YouTube, I see you. Appreciate the tip on YouTube. So YouTube keeps adding new stuff in here, so it's kind of neat for content creators. You did kind of skip over Tulsa tonight. He's like, tell me more about Tulsa. All right. So Tulsa just some thunderstorms, man. Honestly, you guys really don't have a whole lot to worry about. It's all in southeast Oklahoma. So Tulsa is standard garden variety thunderstorms, a little bit of elevated hail, maybe a pocket of wind. Tornado threat is very low up in that area. So it's mostly kind of McAllister region and then points south from there. So I-40 corridor. So you're looking probably fine in Tulsa. It's one of those deals where it's not like a zero threat, but it'd be a freak event kind of a deal. So, but you have my app handy, be all right. And it's not even anything to talk about till the afternoon anyway. So after probably 2 o'clock onward to the early evening. All right. Hey Brown, I see you. That particular case, yeah, there are some rarities where if it all of a sudden just like it's one of those quick developments, which sometimes it happens in a storm, that can be the case. But most of the time it's a track and it takes a while to get ramped up. It's in that process of getting ramped up is when you get alerted. So but there can be times where it can be quick. But yeah, if you get, like in my weather app, so if you get a BTI number, anything over a 7, you hit the deck immediately. Don't even question it. If it's about let's say a 4 or 5 or 6, it means you might want to start thinking about going to the shelter. Definitely check in, see what's happening, see if there's any velocity data on it. You can look at the high resolution radar data on your phone to see, or you can just turn me on and just see what I'm looking at. And then if it's like a 1, 2, or 3, it just means, hey, storm's rotating, it's starting to ramp up. It's not doing anything threatening yet, but watch it. And then if it goes up higher in the next number, that's when you probably should go ahead and hit the shelter. Because sometimes you can have low events, as in lower potent setups. So for example, a big easy setup is, so Billy, Duncan's in the kind of on the fringe of the kind of the tornado threat. Again, better east of you. You're on the slim shot. Otherwise, some thunderstorms. But for example, let's say the atmosphere is super loaded with everything. I mean, it's got massive cape, massive shear, massive lift in the atmosphere, jet stream patterns, the right position, whatever. That's a high potential high vent. So in those cases, when the tornado BTI number is like a 7 through 10, that means tornado big time. Now, we have an event kind of like a nighttime event in the fall, and it's cooler outside, very low cape values. The shear's good, but a lot of the stuff that usually screams, is not there, right? In those cases, and this is why it kind of gets a little confusing, so I try not to do too much on this, those lower numbers will be enough for a tornado. So in other words, a 4, 5, or 6 would be a tornado in that case versus a 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's kind of how you have to look at them. But, unless you at home are paying a lot of attention to the atmospheric setup for the day, you're not going to know those things. I'll know them, of course. So, and then that's kind of things where it gets a little muddled. So I just say, look, if it's 1, 2, 3, just know. You just pay attention that stuff's around you. Keep an eye on it. If it's a 4, 5, 6, you might want to think about hitting the deck. Definitely check into it right now, to see if it's coming exactly for you and what's in it, who's talking about it, blah, blah, blah. And if it's 7, 8, 9, 10, don't even question it. Just grab the kiddos, pets, everything. Just head to your shelter. So if you're new here and you're like, okay, well, what's your shelter? A lot of people in Oklahoma have a storm shelter, and a lot of people don't. So if you don't have one, it's no big deal. Just get to the center part of your home, lowest floor, away from all outside walls and windows. So it could be a bathroom, bathtub, a closet, under a stairwell, anything that's going to put as many walls between you and the outside. And that's usually how people rolled it out in the old days, and it still works in new days, especially with better building codes, etc. And better structures. They use, some cases, builders use like hurricane straps for the roof. They'll use, of course, they'll put bolts on the anchor bolts on the framing of the house to the slab, so that will hold those into place better. And there's just better construction overall, right? So they usually hold up a lot better. And you have to have like a really strong tornado to compromise the integrity. So it's about at least an EF2 just to kind of get in that realm. And really it's an EF3 or 4 before a lot of those outside walls may collapse and disappear or whatever, and you're left with the inside walls. But when you get time like the 4 to 5, then that's usually sometimes when everything kind of goes nuts. But even when it does, there's still plenty of people that still survive, and sometimes there's still things standing like a bathroom or a bathtub or whatever. You get those weird things that happen in tornadoes. But they're very rare, so that's the good news. Yeah, I wouldn't watch the news channels either. So, Janine Simmons, new here, live in Bryan College Station, gig 'em. But I have plans to head to Lufkin, Texas tomorrow, and I probably won't now. But either way, will I get bad weather? Yes, you will, either way. So, just be prepared for that area. Keep your eye out there on things. Ben wants to know about Ardmore. Yep, they're in the sweet spot for potential tornado. Sheila, I see you there. So, good questions. And that would be in the mid to late afternoon. So anytime from 2 to probably 5. And then everything starts kind of moving east and southeast. Let me think. Okay, so some good questions tonight. And I apologize, a lot of times I don't have time for Q&A. It just kind of depends on what I've got going on. But I had some time tonight, so definitely want to throw you guys a bone and answer as many questions as I could. You're welcome. Lou also asked this on YouTube. What does a dangerous storm approaching BTI mean? So what you're going to get is a couple things. You can get I know, Evan. We're doing good. So you can get a dangerous storm approaching. Now, dangerous storm can mean damaging winds, large hail, or tornado. So it's kind of like a all-encompassing one. So, and all those are dangerous items that are on a higher magnitude. All right. But if you get like a twisting storm alert, that means it's a tornadic type storm. And so what happens a lot of times is, so you're sitting there on your couch, all of a sudden my alarm goes off, and you're like, okay, what's this app say? Check AT's weather. Oh, it says twisting storm approaching. Now, at that point, I hope you do this. And then you're like franticking, hey, what's the BTI number? Okay, and then if you're not watching me, better hit the button, turn me on. You can get the direct access through my app, and you hit the little live video feed on there. Or you go to my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com, or you can go to Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter. So if I'm broadcasting live, that's when that'll happen. And then you can see more details if you have time. Now, what'll happen is then you got that alert, you get the heads up. Now, the storm still may be 15 minutes away from you. All right, and it's producing a tornado, or it's about to, right? And I'm tracking, I'm going, yeah, it looks pretty healthy. Looks like it'll probably produce a tornado here soon. All right, well, there, you got your early heads-up warning. Now, all of a sudden, the National Weather Service issues a warning. Now, they usually wait until it's either radar indicated that they've got confidence in, or visual, storm spotter, emergency management, media, etc. So those are the only two reasons why they typically trigger. They don't just trigger just to trigger. So what my app does, it's smart, right? It beats the human at the interpretation game, and it says, you know what? There's enough parameters here where it's probably going to produce a tornado. And so it kind of sends you out those little early notifications, and so that's why it can beat the humans at when they finally do issue the warning, because they have to abide by certain rules, and the algorithms doesn't. The algorithm is like, no one tells me what to do. I'm going to go look at the ingredients, and if it says what I think it says, then I'm putting it out there. So that's how that system works. Where is the tornado going to be? Texas or Arkansas? Answer is yes. So there's going to be a few. Southeast Oklahoma, North Texas, all the way down to 35. Maybe as far south as Waco. And if the cap, isn't too strong, and shear's still okay, maybe as far south as Austin. But then that kind of moves east from there with time on 35 onward. But then it comes to squall lines. So it's kind of a QLCS type tornado after that. Same thing for Arkansas. That would be a QLCS type, which are weaker, short-lived, hard to see at night. Not always detected because there are some areas where the radar coverage isn't that great, and these are very finicky. They're very hard to see, especially farther away from a radar. They're very lower to ground. And so those sometimes don't always get the coverage that they deserve, only because it's just really hard. All right. I think that's going to be it. All right, so I'm going to get out of here, but what I'm going to do... What am I going to do? All right, so I'll probably do maybe a lunchtime live tomorrow. So we'll see how things are going. And I'll be hanging around. We'll see what radar looks like. And if it looks like anything starts to become tornadic or about that, then I'll start doing some cut-ins and you'll get notified when I do go. Again, on Facebook, if you don't get notified anymore, just hit this little link in the comment section and make sure you sign up to get the notification there. And that way you won't miss it, because I'll send those out as well. And then, like I mentioned earlier, if you go to YouTube, so my YouTube channel, just search for Aaron Tuttle OK, like Oklahoma shorthand, OK, like O and the K. So just do Aaron Tuttle OK. But I'm about to change it to AT's Weather. So YouTube, for creators, gives everybody new handles now. So my new handle will be AT's Weather. But I don't think that goes into effect until later in November. So I don't think it's going to work yet. But you have to do like an @ symbol. So you do like an @ symbol, AT's Weather on YouTube. And then that would take you to my page. But for right now, I think you just have to type in my name. And that'll get you there. But anyway, the point being is go there and hit the subscribe button. And then when you do that, and I go live, YouTube will notify you that I'm live. And you can still watch on Facebook. That way, if you want to comment there, if all your peeps are there, you can be interactive there. Or if you just want to stay on YouTube, you can comment there as well. All right. No, Jolene, it's quiet tonight as far as anything like that goes. James, I'll be out in Mustang early tomorrow. They'd follow everything eastbound. Good deal. So yeah, so I've got some volunteer storm chasers that go out, but we just haven't had much action for them the last couple of years, which I'm not really complaining. They might be a little bit because they want some action. But yeah, so I'll have to check in with you guys tomorrow and see how it goes. It may not be much as a visual, maybe kind of low, scud-like. Everything looks like it's rotating. It's hard to see and, skirting the ground. But it is what it is. We'll just see. Okay, I'm getting out of here. Katie, what is your excuse, woman? What is the reason? Just joining. What's the tornado risk for Ada area tomorrow? It's there. So make sure you use my weather app, AT's Weather to go, and check back to see if I do broadcast live for you, because that means the tornado is in the area. It is in the area that is a favored region for tornadoes in the mid to late afternoon. So just kind of stay weather aware. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. If you guys missed it, you can always watch the replay if you'd like, or share the video with your friends and family, and they can watch it. And I'm going to get out of here, but it's been good talking with you, and we shall all chat again tomorrow. Sleep well. See ya.